time period.
Okay, and what did we learn?
That they're directly proportional because if length increases, then the time period increases, and if length decreases, then the time period also decreases.
Okay, okay. Acha, now one thing which you need to clear is that when we use the word directly proportional now, so basically it means that okay, okay, this is very important. It's also important for maths and for every. Okay, let's try to understand. So when we what is basically directly proportional means, okay? Basically directly proportional. The main concept क्या? What's the main concept? One quantity increases. One quantity increases. So other also increases. Other quantity also increases. Okay. When we try to make a graph of it, so you people know this is x-axis and that one is y-axis. Okay. So let's say one axis is one quantity A. I say this is quantity A, and B is quantity, Y is quantity B. Okay, जी? When I use the term directly proportional now, so what basically it means is, let me label it 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what it means is, okay, for example, the ball is at the origin 0. अच्छा. Up if quantity A increases by 1, so does quantity B also increases by 1. दोनों 1 से increase करें, so now the point comes over here. As quantity 1 again increases, it goes from 1 to 2, so does quantity B. So the point goes over here. As quantity goes from 2 to 3, so quantity B also goes from 2 to 3. Now if you notice, okay, how the change in A quantity and the change in B quantity is same. Okay, they are changing with respect to each other with the same amount. तो जब इस तरह का when this kind of relationship ना, so we say quantity A is directly proportional to quantity B. ठीक है, we say quantity A is directly proportional to quantity B. And for example, as ulta काम, it was opposite, like as quantity A was decreasing and quantity B was increasing. So you how is the inversely proportional? A is inversely proportional to B. Now see, the symbol are same for directly proportional and inversely proportional. The difference is that in directly proportional is B is in the numerator and in inversely proportional the B is in the denominator. So this is how you write it. Okay? Clear? Acha. What directly proportional means is that both quantities are increasing by the same amount. अगर यहाँ in x quantity if there is a change of 1, so y may be change of 1 no. If the x is change of 2, y also has a change of 2. Okay? And this is how, and if you plot the graph, तो ये आपको इस तरह की straight line मिलती है. This is known as directly proportional. लेकिन for example, if this happens that the the change in A and change in B quantity is not same. Like for example, if there's a change of 1 in A, then there's a change of 2 in B. If for example, if there's a change of 1 in A again, this time instead of 2, there's a change of 1. So you see, now the change is not constant. Different quantities से change हो रहे हैं. In this scenario, we say that as quantity A changes or increases, quantity B is also increasing. but this relationship is not directly proportional. They are increasing, but they are not directly proportional. Directly proportional is a specific type of change, and that specific type of change क्या है कि if one quantity increases by the same amount, the other quantity also increases by that same amount, and the change or the increase is constant. Got it? Is it clear?
Yes.
Can you repeat? Ji. In Prasad, can you repeat?
That's but the things that are directly proportional is when one quantity increases and the other increases by the same amount.
Yeah. Then we specifically use the word directly proportional. If this is not the case, then हम सिर्फ इतना कहते हैं quantity A is increasing, and so with respect to that quantity B is also increasing. But we don't use the word directly proportional. Okay. Similarly, in inversely proportional, if quantity A is increasing and quantity B is decreasing by the same amount, जितने amount से quantity A increase हो रहा है, उतनी amount से quantity B is decreasing, then we conclude that this is the inversely proportional. Otherwise, what we will say, as quantity A increases, quantity B is decreasing. ठीक है? Got it? Clear? Smile, is it clear? Smile, is it clear? Okay. Nabiha, did you got it? What did we say? Okay. Smile, can you recap? Can you recap?
Directly proportional is when one quantity increases, the other also increases. And indirectly proportional is when one quantity increases, the other decreases.
That is inversely proportional, yeah. By the same amount. ठीक है? अच्छा. Okay. In Prasad, tell me, how would you want to find the time period of a pendulum? So how would you find it? What's the procedure? Explain me the experiment.
Sir, we have to do 2 experiments for time 1 and time 2, and we will add the result of the 2 experiments and divide it over 2.
You have started from in between. Start from the beginning. What's the first thing? पहला काम क्या करना चाहिए? What's the first thing to do? What type? Basically, what is your objective? What you are looking for?
That how length affects the time of the pendulum.
Okay. How length affects the time? Very good. So our main objective of doing this experiment is we want to learn how does time or how does length affects the time period. ठीक है जी. So this is our objective. Where what's the next thing? What type of apparatus do we need to perform this experiment? जी.
Retort stand.
ठीक है. We need a record stand. Okay.
And a clamp and pendulum.
Okay, and a stopwatch and a meter rule. ठीक है? Can everybody
Yes.
see the PDF? Smile, can you see it? Nabiha, can you see it? Okay, good. So these are the instruments which we need. ठीक है? Okay, then how should we set up the instrument? क्या करना चाहिए? What's the next thing?
We will attach the pendulum with the clamp.
Okay. And then what?
And then we'll measure the length with using the meter rule.
Okay. Then what?
Then we'll do 2 experiments to find the time period.
So
And then we'll
how you are supposed to do those 2 experiments?
we'll move the we will take 20 oscillations.
Okay. And how you are supposed
And
how are you supposed to take 20 oscillations?
We'll move the pendulum and we will record the time using a stopwatch.
Okay. And how would we know that 20 oscillations have occurred?
When the pendulum will move to another point and then return back to its original place, it will be one oscillation. And if we do 20 of them, it will be 20 oscillations.
Very good. So we will mark a point A, and we will, from our eyes, we will see that when it completes 20 oscillations, we will stop the stopwatch and we will record the time. And where would we record the time? On our hands or on our copies or on wall? Where?
On the stopwatch?
No, but where will we record the time? Falia, where should we record the time?
On a graph?
This table.
We need to make a table. Okay? Whenever we do experiment, we need to make the data of the experiment organized, and this is how we organize it. Everybody can see the data, right? So
Yes.
basically, what's the first step? We will do what? We will measure the length. We will write the length in the length column. Then we will note the time for 20 oscillations, write the time in this column. Then we will do another experiment, write the time for 20 oscillations again over here. Then we will take the average for 20 oscillations, and to find the time period, we will divide what? The average time by 20 seconds, 20, and we will get the time period for one oscillation. And whatever answer we are getting in this column, then we will take the square of it and write the answer over here. Again, we will change our length and do repeated experiment up till, let's say, 0.9 meters. So we start from 0.5 meters up till 0.9 meters. Is it clear, everybody? So Mile and Abiha. Okay. Okay. Then what? Then we will try to plot the graph. So as we discussed, what type of graph we will plot? The first graph we will plot is period time of y-axis and length on x-axis. And when we plot the graph, we get a curve just like this one. And if we want a linear graph, then we will plot a time period square on y-axis and length on the x-axis. And then for period square, we will get this type of graph. Clear? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now my question is, when you people are conducting an experiment, what things should we consider, or what are the precautions we need to take when you are conducting this experiment?
That there are no errors.
Okay. Such as,
Human reaction time.
okay, we will look for human reaction time. What else?
Wind.
Huh?
Natural errors like wind.
Okay. Good. We will look for a place where it's steady, the environment is steady, the wind is not blowing. Otherwise, it will alter our reading. Good. What else? We should check that the pendulum is tightly attached to the record stand. It is not loose. Otherwise, it will fall. Right?
Yes.
What else? What else precaution we should take? Now whenever we talk about the precautions now, so that precautions are related to the experiment apparatus. Okay? So what can be one more thing? Now it's very important to mark point A so that we should know where is the oscillation starting from, right? So we should need to mark point A very clearly so that we can see where is the starting point of the pendulum so that we can accurately calculate the oscillations, right? Right?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it clear, Somalia and Nabia? Okay, good. So now you need to tell me what are the units of measuring time?
Meters.
Okay, very good. Who's that? Who was that? Kalia?
Yes.
We measure time in meters, right? Is Falia right? Ji, Intisar, do we measure time in meters?
Sir, isn't it seconds?
Yeah, we measure time in seconds. Falia,
Oh, sir, I thought you said length.
nobody says the time is or 10 meters have passed. We say 10 seconds have passed. Okay? So we measure time in seconds. Okay? Acha, now what is the unit for frequency? Can anybody tell me the units for frequency? What are the units? Gina Bia, what are the units for frequency? Any idea? Acha, we learned that time period is inversely proportional to frequency, right?
Yes.
Very good. Good, Falia. The time period is time period is measured in seconds and frequency is what? 1 over time period, right? Frequency is what? 1 over time period. And time period is measured in seconds, so frequency is 1 over s, which is equal to hertz. Okay? So frequency is measured in hertz, which is written as Hz. This is a short form for hertz. Okay? So frequency is measured in hertz. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Smile, can you repeat the experiment? How to find the time period of an one oscillation? What are the experiment? J. J. Smile.
We take the readings of 20 ossicles,
Okay.
sorry, 2 ossicles.
Okay.
Take
And
the
what?
reading of 20
Yeah.
oscillations 2 times, so we get different answers.
Okay.
We divide that by 2 and find the average. Then we divide the average by 20 to find the time period.
Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. The next thing which we are going to do is when we are taking measurement there are two things which are very important. Okay. There are two things which are very important. They are what? Accuracy and precision. Okay. Can everybody see? Can everybody
Yes.
read it? So whenever you take a measurement, the two important parameters are accuracy and precision. Okay. So what is accuracy? Everybody should write this definition from where I have marked. Okay. Ollie, can you read what is an accuracy?
Accuracy is the ability of the instrument to measure the accurate value.
ठीक है. In other words, it is closeness of the measured value to the standard or true value. Okay. What you people need to do is you need to write this paragraph. Okay. Write it down. So everybody write this paragraph from here till here. When you are done, let me know. Okay, good, Falia. Let me know when you are done. Okay. Okay, good. Let's move forward. So now, can you see this precise? Now write down the definition of precision. Write it down. You should write it from here till here. Okay, write this paragraph down. When you are when you are done, let me know. Okay, ji. Is it done, ji? Okay. हाँ जी. Now, can you tell me what is accuracy and what is precision? जी. जी. Intisad,
Yes.
what is accuracy and what is precision?
Accuracy is the ability of the instrument to measure the accurate value,
Okay.
and precision is the when it means that two or more values of the measurements are close to each other.
Okay. Okay. Now let's try to understand the concept of precision and accuracy by the help of a diagram. Okay. By the help of a diagram. Okay. Now everybody can see this figure, right? If
Yes.
okay. Now basically what our aim is, the aim is to mark the dots at a center. So this is basically what we are looking at. Okay. Now the accurate value will be when you put the dot or in the center. Okay. Now as you see, these four values are very close to each other, and they are also inside the circle. So they are also accurate and precise. Got it? Clear? Acha.
Yes.
For this thing, let's say this is A. Now for part B, if you see that the four dots are not inside the inner circle, so mean their value is not accurate, but the values are close to each other. And what is precision? How much each other values are close to each other. So in this scenario, the values are not accurate, but they are precise, right? In this over here, if you notice that the four values are closer to the inner circle, so they are relatively accurate, but they are far away from each other. Can you see the distance? So they are accurate but not precise. And lastly, these four are neither accurate nor precise because they are not near to the inner circle nor they are close to each other. So in this scenario, neither they are precise nor they are accurate. So I hope it is clear what is the difference between accurate and precision. Precision is how close the values are each to each other. Like you get 3 readings or 4 readings and you get the answers 4 different readings. Now if those readings are precise, they would be close to one another. But if they are far away, they are not close to one another, then they are not precise. For accuracy deals is how much accurate are the values to the original or true value. So this is the difference between precise and accurate.
Accurate.
Yeah. Clear, Falia? Is it clear?
Yes.
Jeen, Abhi and Sumail, is it clear? Okay. What I will be doing is I will be sharing this link with you people, and as a homework you need to read the whole article. Okay. So you should get a better understanding of precision and accuracy. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm sharing this link with you people. So after the class, in your free time, what you need to do, you need to go through and read this whole article. Okay, this would be your homework. Okay, I'm just posting it in the. Okay, I have done it in a group. Okay, so let's move forward. Okay, ji. Acha. Now you have the concept. Okay, let's move forward. Okay. So basically we are done. Acha. Falia, can you read the last two observations which of the experiment, the pendulum experiment? Jay.
What can we observe? What can we observe about the graph of t against L? The period increases with length, but not linearly.
So that's
does
a,
the-
yeah. So what does it mean basically? Okay, as length increases, as we discussed yesterday, the period will also increase, but it not linearly. When they are said not linearly, then it means they are not directly proportional. Only directly proportional things are linear. Okay. So what's the result? The period increases with the length, but not linearly. It's non-linear. Okay. So that's part one. Okay. Because if it was linear, always remember when we will say linear, now this is the graph it is talking about. So is this a linear graph? No, it's non-linear because it is not a straight line. Linear graph is always a straight line. Got it? Everybody got
Yes.
it? Now this is a linear graph. Why? Because it is a straight line. Okay. So for period versus length, it is a non-linear graph, which is increasing as length increases, time period also increases. And time square versus length is a linear graph. So now we will read the second part. Jefalia, continue.
What does the plot of t square against L tell us? It tells us that the square of the period is directly proportional
Okay,
to the
stop.
length.
Oh, so did you see the line? It tells us that the square of the period is directly proportional to the length. What did I told you? In order to be directly proportional, the length should be linear and it should be the straight line passing through the origin. So isn't the same thing happening over here? It's passing through the origin and it's a straight line. So now we can conclude t square is directly proportional to length. Got it? Got the concept of
Yes.
directly proportional? G, Ibtisat, Somalia and Abia. Okay? So this is the concept of directly proportional. Good. Continue. J. Ji Fale, continue.
This gives rise to a straight line graph when we plot t square against L. By extending the straight line graph, we can easily predict the period of the pendulum for lengths that are not included in the graph we have plotted.
Okay? So what we see when we plot time against length, the period increases with length, but it's not a linear graph. If we want a linear graph, what we need to do, we need to plot t square against L. L would be on, length would be on x-axis and t square value would be on y-axis. With this thing, we have completed our first topic. Okay? So we are done with our first topic. What I will be doing is, I will be giving out this PDF to you people so that you can go through this experiment. And over the weekend, what you need to know, what you need to do is that you need to go through this experiment, read it, and it should be on your fingertips. And then we also have a summary of how to measure time. And after doing it, and this is a summary of whole topic which we have done. You need to do these questions. Can you see it? Can everybody see the PDF?
Yes.
Yes.
So these are all the questions which we have done, topic which I have covered. So you need to try to solve these questions. Okay. Acha. One thing is left which we are going to discuss right now is that we learned how to measure the time period of a pendulum. Okay. And in terms of physics, this is the period. This is a formula of measuring time period of a pendulum. Fazil, can you read the formula?
T equals to 2 pi
And what's the
under,
value of pi? Pi is what? 3.142. Everybody knows the value of pi? Pi is a
Yes.
constant.
yes,
Ismail and Nabia, you know the value of pi? Okay. So t is equal to time period is equal to 2 pi under root length over g. What is g?
Gravity.
Acceleration due to gravity. Okay, we will study that thing. Okay. What you need to do is for this question, you need to just plot. For this question, you need to plot the graph only. Okay. For question number 1, this question just need to plot a graph on a graph paper and see, just plot the graph and see how's the graph made. ठीक है जी? So can anybody tell me what would be the shape of the graph if you plot this data on your graph paper? J. Can you tell me, everybody? Anybody tell me what will be the shape of the graph if you plot this on your graph paper, the data given in the table form? Ismail, Nabiha, Falia, इनके साथ what would be the graph look like?
Curve.
It will be linear, but it will be curved.
It will be linear or it will be curve? What?
Curved.
Curved.
Curve. Why curve? Because we just learned that when we make a graph of time period versus length, we get a curve graph. And if we take a square of it, then we will get what if we plot
Linear.
Linear
t
graph.
square over length, we will get a linear graph. So when you are solving this problem, what you need to do? First of all, you will plot a graph of t against first part A, t against L. That would be your part A graph. Then you will make another column in which you will write the values of t square. And how will you get the values of t square? You will simply square these values, right? Is it right? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
And when you have the column for t square, then you will again plot the graph. But this time the graph would be of t square over length. And what should you get? You should get the straight line passing through the origin. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
So can you, Falia, repeat what you need to do in this question?
We have to make a graph of um, time against the time period against the length.
It should be length against time period. Length would be on y-axis and time would be on x-axis, right? Good. And then what?
Take the square.
And then very good. Then we will make another graph of t square over length. And that should be a straight line. But how would we get the value of t square? We have the only value of t. So how should we get the value of t square?
Take
We
under
will
root.
Under root?
Square.
Yeah, we will take square of each corresponding values. Okay? So we will get the value of t square. Got it?
Yeah.
Got
Yes.
it? Nabia and Sumail, did you got it? Okay. So any question related this regarding this topic? Any question or any problem?
No.
Okay. Okay. Can you repeat how did we start this chapter? What was the summary? Can you give me a summary of this chapter? What was the first topic we started from? G Faria. We started from.
Physical quantity.
Okay. So basically we started from physical quantity and we learned what is a physical quantity, and there are 7 SI units, and the 7 physical quantities. Then what did we do? We learned how to measure, or we learned about instruments for measuring length, and that contained vernier caliper, micrometer, meter rule, and measuring tape. Then we went through the instruments of measuring time, and we went through how to measure time period of a pendulum. Then we also went through random errors and systematic errors. We also went through precision and accuracy. Okay? So I am also sending this PDF to you, and this will be your homework over this weekend. Okay? You need to submit it by Monday. Any other question you people want to ask? Any confusion?
No,
Jay,
sir.
No.
okay. This Smile and Abhi, any questions? Okay, okay, okay. So I'm just sending this PDF. So inshallah Ta'ala we will meet on Monday at 1:50. Okay, enjoy your weekend. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.